I'll be honest with you, the video this week is probably going to be a fairly short one. I've captured a lot of video, but going back and reviewing it, it's just not really been anything spectacular. So instead of boring you to death, I'm probably just going to make it kind of a short one this week. Let me get the gate for you and we'll head on down to the farm and let's get busy. So I had mentioned about moving the cows over to a range mule, and I had recorded a piece on that the other day. Unfortunately, I can't find it, so my phone's been doing some twinky things when it comes to transferring things to the computer for editing. But anyway, basically, I'm not going to re-record the whole piece, but just to kind of give you, for those of you that may not be familiar with what range meal is. Range meal is kind of a basis of cottonseed meal with a salt mix and usually ground corn or something like that. It gives them 2 layers of fat, a little extra protein, about a 15 to 20% protein depending on the brand and time of year, and a little bit of fat in there. So that is a supplement feed, something to create kind of a snack feeding. So the salt that's in there keeps them from just standing there and eating until it's all gone. It helps limit how much they take in at one time. So hopefully you're able to create a snack habit of making the rounds between the hay, the range meal, graze, water tank, and you kind of create this circular pattern so that they're getting feed from, or a food input from different sources. Hay mainly for the fiber and the and the dry matter, and then you've got what graze they can find, which right now is not a whole lot. The range meal is a little extra protein for them, also salt that they also need, but the overload of salt also helps keep them from eating too much, and then of course the water tank. So you can hopefully kind of create that cycle where between each source they can find enough to sustain and hopefully sustain well. I'm using a standard bunk feeder for the range meal, and because I didn't know how well it was going to transition, how well it would work. The bag that I put out Thursday, they just pretty much emptied it up, so it lasted about 4 days. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, okay, yeah, about 3.5 days, because it's pretty much empty now. So I'm going to put out the rest of the bag. I only put out half just to kind of see how it worked and see if we had any rain, because you don't want it to get wet, because it's a really fine meal. It gets wet, it just kind of clumps up, it gets nasty. So until I can get a feeder built, I'll be using that feed bunk. So that's why I'm only putting it out a little bit, 2 or 3 days worth at a time, so I can keep an eye on the forecast and make sure it doesn't get wet. Because like I said, once it gets wet, you've wasted some feed, because it gets pretty nasty fast. Let me grab that bag of range meal and I'll be right back. As you can see, they are not huge fans of the range meal. But unfortunately, that's what you get.
Well, they're close to you, so she don't.
Come here.
Where you at?
Hi, Dad.
What, baby?
That's a boy. That one's a boy. He reminds me of Mooney.
I'm going to have to make apologies that I was not able to catch the camera, but I had an opportunity to get Joe and Squirt separated and get them up. So I did so. I just saw my opportunity, and I ran and got it done. Took a few minutes, but I got it done. So looks like possibility that Squirt may have pneumonia, and we'll be feeding her and Joe on their own up there separately. I know that's going to drive everybody else nuts. Well, unfortunately, we weren't able to catch that calf to get her a dose of antibiotics. So hopefully, maybe she'll be okay for tonight. We can try again tomorrow night. Just gotta. Her and her mama both are very standoffish, very leery, very hard to do anything with. A good Saturday afternoon to you. It is a warm day, but they're talking about a pretty rapid cool off as we head into the first part of next week. Last night, I was able to get a dose of LA to Squirt, the calf that's having some problems. I did get her a dose of LA last night. We're just going to have to wait and see what happens. She should get another dose. That's a 72 hours of Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. We'll just have to wait and see. But I know she's up and moving still. She's been moving around back and forth in the shady part of the pasture down there. So I am going to try to get a little bit more up close and personal check on her. We're going to come clean about our thievery. Yes, I'm joking. Down the road a bit, not even half a mile, something like that. Somebody lost a couple of like the 3x6 5-banded square bales, or solid square bale, and they lost a couple of them down the road, about, like I said, half mile maybe at the most. And we were told by somebody in the know that the bales had been there for a couple 3 days, and they said if somebody doesn't pick them up by Monday, the highway department will most likely pick them up and haul them to the dump. Hay is too much at a premium to do that, so we got them. so there's the hay table. You can see how high that's piled. Pretty much front to back. And then we have a pallet here with several flakes stacked on it and tied down that we were able to just pick up with the tractor and bring in and set them down. So don't know who lost these, but they are good bales, and they were there for a couple 3 days is what I was told. So I'm not going to interrupt her, but you see that right there? See that? That's her at the water tank. That's a good sight. Lord, is that a good sight. Because she has not been willing to eat, drink, nothing since she's been sick. So I just saw her get a drink. Oh, thank you, Jesus. So maybe we're on the right path.